Well, it's been 2 years since the lives of people in East Palestine were forever changed by a fiery and toxic train derailment.
Nearly 40 Norfolk Southern trains hauling hazardous chemicals derailed and caught on fire, toxins spilling into the water and soil.
Brian Duffy live tonight from East Palestine on this anniversary where Brian, Vice President J.D. Vance and other state officials visited the site.
Yeah, you guys are right, and very interesting that it was J.D. Vance who was here today, because the vice president remarked today that it was really the first crisis he faced as a newly elected United States senator when he was on the ground here in East Palestine. And now, as the vice president of the United States, this is one of the first trips he makes as VP. The vice president tried to connect those two by stating to the people here in East Palestine that he would not forget and that he would make it a key point of the EPA and the administration to make sure that the people here in East Palestine were not forgotten. You may remember it's been 2 years now. This sleepy little town has been dealing with this. And you guys mentioned those toxins, vinyl chloride. That was what seeped into the groundwater. That's what seeped into the soil. That's what was exploded by that train derailment into the sky. And then remember that controlled burn when they actually caused an explosion there that caused that mushroom cloud of vinyl chloride here in the skies. I remember that because I was standing right underneath it. As it turns out, the NTSB said, you know what, you didn't need to do that. That was unnecessary. It was a really bad idea because the temperatures in those rail cars were going down. So mistakes have been made here, but the vice president today said that he's continuing to work on a Railway Safety Act to make sure those mistakes are not made again, and he continues to push Norfolk Southern to do the right thing.
In that initial phase, what we were most worried about is the water clean to drink? Is the air safe to breathe? That's what we were really worried about 2 years ago. Now what we're worried about is finishing the cleanup and getting this community back on the path of economic prosperity. And you asked about the Railway Safety Act. I mean, I sponsored the Railway Safety Act because I thought then, and I still think now, that we could do a lot better. We could have smarter regulations that actually empower the railways to experiment with technology that will make their business safer, but most importantly, make these communities safer. And I think that we could do a lot better at ensuring that when you have a terrible train disaster like what happened in East Palestine, the railways actually pick up the tab.
So the vice president is obviously saying all the right things here. We're going to continue to watch his actions because they speak louder than those words. What will they do? What will the EPA do here? And coming up at 6 on 19 News, how about the long-term future of East Palestine economically for the people who live here? Will anyone want to buy a house here in East Palestine? Those are all big questions moving forward, and it will have to be continuously monitored here. Is that in the plans of this administration? For now, in East Palestine, I'm Brian Duffy, 19 News.
And Brian, we have continuing team coverage everywhere at 5. In the next half hour, Brittany Weir talks to people about the financial and health impacts they're still seeing in the village. And you can find all of our past and present coverage on Cleveland 19.com.